Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another 10 pens currently inked. So I think let's go through these briefly one by one. We'll go through them in a little bit more detail and then we'll do a writing sample. So from left to right we have the Taccia Miyabi, and this is the Winter's Breath. We have a Taccia Miyabi Empress Winter's Breath. We have a Danitrio, and this is the Ancient Dragon. We have a Danitrio Chinkin. We have two new pens in this lineup, which is the TWICO Seishu Dragon, and this is in the red. And we also have the TWICO Seishu Dragon in the green. We have an Onoto, and this is the British Museum Great Court. We have an Onoto Longitude. We have the Onoto Chased Green, and we have a Parker 130th Duofold Anniversary. So I think let's go through these pens in a little bit more detail. So this is a very beautiful Taccia Miyabi Winter's Breath, and this really is quite a stunning pen. It's made of ebonite, and it then is maquilled with the crushed quail's eggs that you see there. And they literally just crush some quail's eggs and then stick them to the pen. And then they also take some abalone shell and cut it into strips and then again glue it to the pen and then urushi lacquer over the top. So you can kind of feel the texture a little bit on both the eggshells and the abalone shell as well. It is quite a long pen, and if I unscrew the cap, you'll see it has a number 6 Taccia nib. These nibs are actually made by Sailor. This is actually a broad nib. I didn't think I would like the medium nib, so I went with the broad nib on this. But you can see there in the size of my hand that is actually quite a good size. Can you post the cap? You can. I wouldn't normally do so on a urushi or maquillé pen, but you can do if you want to. Now, you can actually see here, this is quite interesting, the way that they actually layer all of the eggshells there. This is a cartridge converter pen, and I will show you there. It is inked up as well, because obviously I'm going to be writing with it this week. But this is quite an interesting pen. So it's a pen that I do like writing with. It is a broad nib, and I do find that the Sailor nibs and the Taccia nibs don't write massively wet, and so I am actually glad that I did get a broad nib on this one. And I got that one from Bryant at Chatterley Luxuries, and that is a really, really nice Taccia. Strange enough, when I bought that one, I was saying that as much as I love the Taccia Miyabi Winter's Breath, I wish it had a Sailor King of Pen number 8 or 9 size nib on it. And Taccia hadn't actually made one with Sailor. 6 months later, they did. And the Empress model came out, which essentially is slightly longer, slightly more girthier or wider, and it also has some it has a ruthenium plated clip with the crushed quail's eggs on it as well. You'll see it's also a little bit brighter in terms of the eggshell here on this one. And again, this is a beautiful pen. I was able to pick this up. Somebody was selling this on the used market, and I was able to pick it up. Glad that I did. It's not a cheap pen. The Taccia Miyabi is not a cheap pen, but this is certainly not a cheap pen. This is a lot more. But I do like it, and I have to say, I didn't have a choice with a nib, so it came with the Taccia Sailor made medium nib there. It's a 21 cat. Actually, is it 21? No, it's 18 cat. The Sailor nibs are 21 cat. The Taccia are 18 or 14, depending on the pen. But you can see here, it is actually quite a good size in my hand. Can you post the cap? Yeah, you can do again. It won't post deeply on this one. It is, again, a cartridge converter pen, and I have to say I'm liking cartridge converters more. I still do get a little bit frustrated that I typically run out of ink fairly quickly when writing. But I do have a lot of Penida pen fillers, and I can take those. I have a lot of Diamine 30ml bottles of ink, which you can actually just connect straight to a Penida pen filler. So, and I think I did a video at one point on that one. So I can refill on the go if I want to. Typically, I don't normally take ink with me just because of ink spillages and things like that. But I typically will make sure that I fill up my pens so that I hopefully will not run out of ink. The next pen is the Danitrio, and this is the Ancient Dragon. And this is a really stunning pen. And I will actually tell you what the full name of it is, because I can never remember this. So this is the Danitrio Maki Ancient Dragon with Flowers by Kage on Hayatan. So that is quite a bit of a mouthful. So I just call it the Ancient Dragon because it does have essentially an ancient dragon there. And I do like this pen a lot. I picked this up from John at St John's Pens. This was at one of the London pen shows. I want to say, I think it was October last year, October 22, that I picked this one up. Really nice. Might have been March. I think it was October. I'd have to look at my pen database. But this is a beautiful pen. I really do like it a lot. Very nice pen. I have been on a little bit of a Urushi kick in more recent last couple of years. So my Urushi collection is growing in size. This comes with a number 6 size Danitrio, and that is the fireball nib there that you can see. So it is quite a nice pen. It is good in the size of my hand. You can post that cap. The Hayatan model is actually designed to do so, but also like you have to be careful because you've got threads on the cap here, and you could start marking them. Again, this is a cartridge converter pen, but it's a pen that I like writing with, and I do like Danitrio. So I have been on a bit of a kick for Danitrio lately as well. So at the same pen show, not only did I pick up the Ancient Dragon, but I also picked up this one. And this one is and I'll read out the full name here, because again, I forget it. It's Danitrio Chinkin Kage Momata on Takumi. So again, this is another beautiful pen, Chinkin. So you can see this beautiful sort of etching there that goes on where they just scratch away and fill with sort of gold leaf or paint, or very beautiful. So this is a really lovely pen, and I have to say this is probably one of my most flexiest nibs from Danitrio. It is a real bouncer. Now this is a cartridge converter, but I feel that this goes through a huge amount of ink. So you can see there, it's a number 6 size. This is a fine Danitrio nib. The Ancient Dragon was a medium, but this is a fine nib. Cartridge converter, so it holds 0.7 milliliters of ink. But I find I can write just about 2 pages of A4. That's one sheet, so 2 sides, and it has run out of ink. Because although this is a fine nib, I do flex it quite a bit and flourish with it, and this is a very thirsty pen. So that in itself it's a beautiful pen, and a beautiful pen to write with as well. But it does drink ink, so I might have to seriously start considering. I normally have this inked up with Pilot Washizuku in a hoe. And I might have to start thinking about actually filling a Penida pen filler and taking that with me, because out of all my pens, that is a pen that will exhaust its ink pretty quickly. Now, hopefully you've seen the reviews of these already. If you haven't, go and check out these reviews. These are a pen that has been commissioned by TWICO, which is a combination of John Twiss, who's a custom pen maker, and also Vince Coates from both the Northumbrian Pen Company and also the Turner's Workshop in the UK. But this was commissioned by an artist called Seishu, and this is a really beautiful, beautiful dragon. You can see here the artwork on this dragon is absolutely insane. You've got a couple of eyes there that glisten, which are abalone shell or Varden. But the rest of the pen is in red and gold. It's painted. You have a fireball there as well. This really is a stunning pen. And you can feel this texture. It is urushi lacquered, but you can really feel it's probably got, it feels like it's maybe 5 or 10 layers of paint there. I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's just very thick paint that is used. But this really is beautiful. So you have the fireball there. You have the wind. It is a really beautiful pen. So this is commissioned by Seishu, or commissioned by TWICO for and made by Seishu. Seishu has actually done collaborations with Pelican. She's helped create I think it was the White Ray M1000, also the Pelican M800 Royal Gold Varden that I have, also the M8, I think it's 05 Platinum Varden as well, which I don't have actually. But her artwork is absolutely beautiful. So I was so glad I was able to pick this up at the London Pen Show in March this year, March 2023. And likewise, I just had to pick up its sibling, which was the Green Dragon. There were 10 made of each of these, plus the prototypes. I have the prototypes. And I just realised very quickly that if I was going to get one, and then I waited another 6 months to buy the second one, and it had sold out, I would be kicking myself. So I decided that I would have to pick up both of these at the same time, and I really do not regret doing so, because these are very, very nice pieces of artwork, as well as good writing pens. So again, you can see that green dragon there with the abalone shell in its eyes, the Varden, but instead of red scales on the dragon, you've got green scales. You still have a red fireball there, you have the wind. It just is a complete work of art. And these do write well. So both of these actually have 14 karat gold Yovo nibs on them. They are cartridge converter pens as well. They are a good size in the hand. They're not designed to be posted. And like I say, I would not normally post a urushi or maki pen. The urushi layer should be pretty tough to actually really stop it from scarring the body, but I still would prefer not to do that, because these are works of art. These are not cheap pens, and I would hate to be posting this pen and find out maybe in 2, 3, 4, 5 years time that I've got a lot of scratches because I had been posting that pen. Again, I don't think I would get scratches, but if I did, then I probably would be maybe kicking myself a little bit there. The next pen here is the Onoto, and this is the beautiful British Museum Great Court. This is a solid silver pen. It is a heavy pen. Comes in around about 95 grams in weight. It is a heavy pen for sure. It's made of sterling silver, AG 925. So that makes it a heavy pen. It then has this lovely glass enameling going on there. Beautiful pen. So glad I was able to pick this up. I picked this up from Roy at Izod's, and this has a number 7 size fine Onoto nib. It does have a cartridge converter, and again, I am liking the cartridge converters. I haven't had many pistons fail on pens or power vacs, but I know at some point they possibly will. So the beauty of a cartridge converter is that if the piston fails on the cartridge converter, if it fails, then you just go and buy another cartridge converter. It's that simple. Whereas if the piston fails on a piston pen or the power vac fails on a power vac pen, you've got to send it away. There's going to be a bit of a big repair job there. Things might break as well in terms of when it's being repaired. Who knows? So I think I am liking cartridge converters more. You can't post this cap. It's not designed to do so. But you can see there in the size of my hand, that is a big pen. So you shouldn't need to do so. You shouldn't need to post that cap. But I know some people like to, and that's perfectly fine. The next pen, being on a bit of a kick on Onoto, was this one. I actually picked this up towards the end of 2022. The Onoto, and this is the Longitude. So you can see there, it's got a ship-faring theme, and you can see there by the massive clip with an anchor, and also the coiled rope there on top. And then obviously you've got the wind or the seas there. Beautiful pen. I do like this pen a lot. It's not as heavy as my Onoto Great Court British Museum pen. The cap is quite heavy, but the body is more resin. So from that perspective, it's not going to be as heavy. Again, though, it has a number 7 size nib there. I got this one in a medium, actually. I figured I would actually try a medium out for Onoto, and again, it is a cartridge converter. You can see that's about half remaining in that converter there. It is a nice pen, and you've got the limited edition one there, 22 of 300, and you've also got the Longitude there. Can you post the cap? You can, but it makes it very back weighted because this is a very heavy cap. So again, I just do not post the caps on most of my pens unless they are very short or very light pens, and I just want a little bit more length or a little bit more weight to the pen. I have this one inked up again, and this is the Onoto, and this is the Magna Classic in the chased green or jade. Chase is this beautiful chased pattern, which is essentially etched into what is resin, and then filled with a silver or a gold color. You can see the Onoto logo and badge there, and also on the clip. But this is beautiful, beautiful pen. Now, when I bought this, I did buy it from Royal Izos, and the previous owner, because it was secondhand, had ground this to a very crisp metallic and had removed all of the tipping on the underside of the pen. I got this for a very good price, and I had considered for, I think, almost at least 6 months, if not longer, to maybe buy a replacement nib. And I actually did that in the end. I had improved the nib to a point that I actually did like writing with the pen, but I also know it didn't write as well as my other Onoto. So at the London Pen Show in March 23, I decided to buy a replacement nib from Onoto. I got a medium nib again, but this is a beautiful writer. It is a cartridge converter pen. Onoto have now started doing more plunger pens. So you can, you used to only be able to get a plunger on certain bodied pens, but now they've actually engineered it so that you can almost retrofit a plunger. It plugs in like a cartridge converter. It's essentially a bigger cartridge converter, but with a plunger on the end. So that in itself is quite nice. So I do have this one inked up today as well. And then the last pen here is a pen that I do like a lot. I got it towards the end of 22, and this is a Parker Duofold. It's 130th anniversary of travel. Beautiful pen. Has a lapis lazuli stone there. Very difficult to see, but I'll see if I can show that to you there. It really is quite a beautiful stone. The cap is beautiful. It's gold plated. It's not solid gold, but you do have a beautiful inscription pattern going all the way around, which essentially is the globe. And then you also have here the Earth pictured there, so you can rotate that round. Beautiful pen. I do like the Parker Duofolds. I got this. I didn't have the option. I got this. It came in a fine nib, which is a little bit strange when I think about it, because if you think about most of the limited edition pens, most of them, like Pelican and that, will put a medium nib on it. But I think Parker for the Duofolds typically do stick fine on, because many of my others have been fine nibs. But you do have this lovely nib engraved there for the Art of Travel 130th anniversary. It is a cartridge converter pen as well. Can I post the cap? The cap isn't that heavy because it is gold plated. You can post the cap. It doesn't post that securely, but you can post it. I will be doing a review at this at some point. I have the massive box sitting around, and I keep looking at it thinking I have to do the review so I can pack this box away. So I will do a review shortly of that. I say shortly, I will record the review shortly, but depending on the amount of videos, pen reviews I have, it might be a while before I actually release that. So there you have it. That's my Kony ink pens for this week. I think let's now go and do a writing sample. So the first pen here is the Taccia Miyabi Winter's Breath. So I think what we'll do is we'll do an ink swatch. And I am actually glad that I went with a broad nib on this. I thought a medium would be too fine, but then again, I do have a number of Sailor King of pen nibs in mediums. So, but I just wanted to have something that was a little broader. So this is the Taccia Miyabi, and it's the Winter's Breath. And it is a broad, and it's an 18 karat gold nib. And the ink in here is Pelican, Edelstein, Topaz, which is a beautiful blue or cerulean blue. I do like that colour of ink a lot. The next pen inked up is a Taccia Miyabi Empress Winter's Breath. So we'll do an ink swatch. And I've always said that I wanted to ink up the previous pen in something other than blue, but I just love that blue so much. So when I got the Empress Winter's Breath, I decided I would ink this up in a green, because there is a lot of green there in the abalone shell, in the Varden. So this is the Taccia Miyabi, but this is the Empress model, and it is the Winter's Breath, and it is a medium. And again, it is an 18 karat gold nib. At the moment, Sailor are not doing the 21 karat gold for Sailor. For Taccia, they're only doing the 18 karat gold. And then the ink in here is Diamine, and it's ultra green, which for some reason I always want to call ultimate green. But it's a really nice green colour, I have to say. I do like that. The next pen is the Danitrio Ancient Dragon. So we'll do an ink swatch. And this is a really beautiful red. I can't remember what ink I used to ink this up with. I think it might have been Diamine Poppy Red. But this is a really nice colour red. So this is the Danitrio Ancient Dragon. And I probably could actually put a much darker red in to match that pen, but I do typically like brighter reds. Now, this is a medium, and it's an 18 karat gold nib. It's actually a bulk nib. And the ink in here is Diamine Wild Strawberry. But that is quite a nice ink. Goes on a little bit more of a pastel red, I would say. But it is a nice red ink. The next pen is the Danitrio Chinkin. So again, we'll do an ink swatch. And I was saying that this is probably one of my most flexible Danitrio nibs. I've got a few, but this I do find is probably one of the flexiest. So this is the Danitrio Chinkin. And it's a fine, and it's an 18 karat gold nib. And I say, like, you can get like a line like that, or you can get a line like that. So that's what I mean by flexi nibs. That is a pretty flexi nib. It might not be as good or as some of the vintage flex nibs, but to me, this is actually a really good flex nib. Now, the ink in here is Pilot, Awashizuku, Inner Ho. And I mentioned that I actually go through an entire cartridge converter in one sheet or 2 pages of A4. And this is the reason, because it is putting down a lot of ink and it is feathering. So that's why this is quite a juicy, wet nib, and it will just drink ink like mad. The next pen is the TWICO Seishu Dragon in red. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And this is a Yovo nib, but it's a 14 karat, not an 18 karat nib. I have to say I am liking it. So this is the TWICO Seishu Dragon in red, and it's a medium, and it's a 14 karat gold Yovo nib, and the ink in here is I just have to think about this, what it was. It's KWZ Thief's Red, and I might actually put I want to put maybe Diamine Red Dragon in it, but I don't actually have Diamine Red Dragon. So maybe I need to buy another bottle of ink, which I really don't need more bottles of ink, but maybe I should, and put Diamine Red Dragon in there. There may be some other dragony inks that I could put in there. So I will have to think that one through. The next pen inked up is again the TWICO Seishu Dragon, but in green. So we'll do another ink swatch. And again, I have to say, like, I wanted to put Diamine Ultra Green in this, which would have been this one. And I thought, yeah, I can't ink up 2 pens at the same time with the same ink. I can, but I prefer not to. So I chose this other ink, and it was a new ink that I'd purchased recently, and I really like it. So this is the TWICO, and it's the Seishu Dragon in green, and again a medium 14 karat gold nib. And as we're coming into spring, I decided I would get this ink, KWZ Grass Green, and I have to say I am liking the colour. It's probably, I don't know, I want to say it is a different green. I have Diamine Meadow, I have Diamine Apple Glory, which is a nice bright greens. I have War and Klinger Verdura, which is a green. But but again, that's probably the closest to this. And then I have some Akamons like the Bazoodan Woodgrown as well, but that's more of a darker green. But that is a green that I am starting to like and starting to use quite a bit. The next pen here is an Onoto, and it's the British Museum Great Court. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And this is a fine nib. I do find the fine nibs for Onoto, they are Bock made nibs. But I do find that the fine nibs are not as wet. So this is an Onoto, and it is the British Museum. Great Court. I think that was just a part of the paper that was not the same texture. And this is a fine, and it's an 18 karat gold nib. And the ink in here, I want to say it's Pelican Needle Sign Topaz, but I know it's not. It is Venvistus, and it's Aqua di Spargi. Didn't do that eye very well, did I? But that is a beautiful, again, sort of cerulean blue, turquoisey coloured ink that I typically do like. The next pen here is the Onoto Longitude. So I think let's do another ink swatch. Now this is a medium nib, and hopefully you can see that this is a lot wetter. So this is the Onoto Longitude, and it's a medium, and it's an 18 karat gold Bock nib. And then the ink in here is the same as this one. It's Pelican Edelstein Topaz. But you'll see that this one up here is a lot lighter than this one. This is slightly darker than Venvistus Aqua di Spargi as well. The next pen here is the Onoto, and this is the Magna Classic in Chase Green. So we'll do an ink swatch. And again, medium nib here, you can see this is very wet. So this is an Onoto Magna Classic in Chased Green or Jade. Sometimes it's sold as. It's a medium, and it's an 18 karat gold Bock nib. But you can just see that that is very wet writer. And then the ink in here is Diamine, and it's Apple Glory, which is one of the favourite green inks that I typically go back to using quite a lot. And then the last pen inked up is a Parker Duofold 130th anniversary. So we'll do an ink swatch. And this is a fine nib, so again, it's going to write drier than a medium. So it's a Parker, and it's the Duofold 130th anniversary. And I just want to double check it is a fine. Yeah, it is. And it's an 18 karat gold nib. And the ink in here is Lamy Turquoise, which is a nice blue colour. Not quite as light as Pelican Edelstein Topaz though, or Venvistus Aqua di Spargi, but still quite light. So I think let's take a look at these pens inked up one more time. So we have a Taccia Miyabi Winter's Breath with a broad 18 karat gold nib inked up with Pelican Edelstein Topaz. We have a Taccia Miyabi Empress Winter's Breath in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Diamine Ultra Green. We have a Danitrio Ancient Dragon in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Diamine Wild Strawberry. We have a Danitrio Chinkin in a fine 18 karat gold nib inked up with Pilot Washizuku in a hoe. And this really is the closest that I've ever seen to a gold coloured ink that does not have shimmer in it. The next pen is the TWICO Seishu Dragon in red in a medium 14 karat gold nib inked up with KWZ Thief's Red. A TWICO Seishu Dragon in green in a medium 14 karat gold nib inked up with KWZ Grass Green. We have an Onoto British Museum Great Court in a fine 18 karat gold nib inked up with Venvistus Aqua di Spargi. We have an Onoto Longitude in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Pelican Edelstein Topaz. We have an Onoto Magna Classic in the chase green in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Diamine Apple Glory. And we have a Parker Duofold 130th anniversary in a fine 18 karat gold nib inked up with Lamy Turquoise. So there you have it. That's my currently inked pens for this week. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.